So I'm going to just cut to the chase. Come on up, Kevin, Laurie, and you guys share your property. Give them a hand.
All right. Well, I'll start. We're Kevin and Laurie Chalmers. We are preferred investor group members since August of 2013. So next year it's 10 years, and I can't believe it. It's crazy. Yeah, thank you. Prior to joining, I worked in human resources for 13 years, and Kevin worked for Texas Instruments, and by the time he retired from Texas Instruments, he had been there for 18 years as a director of engineering. And Kevin likes to say we were corporate junkies turned full-time real estate investors, and I think what that means is that, we just were in the mindset that we were going to work in a full-time job until we saved enough money or had enough in our 401ks to eventually quit. And that was the plan. I mean, that's what we were raised to do, to think. And so that was our plan. So today, though, we have been lead investors on 9 deals, currently managing just 6. We've sold 3. Am I saying it right? Yep. And we're 45 plus as a passive and or KP in passive deals. Prior to joining, we had no real estate experience other than just buying our own single family house. Kevin grew up in rentals, so even his very, very first ever experience in owning real estate was when we bought our house together. And then we both retired from corporate America. Me in 2013, like literally probably 60 days after our 2-day with Dell. He even on the 2-day, on the Sunday, wrote in my book, you need to quit your job. And so I did. I put in my notice and quit. Dove right in. And then he retired from TI in 2016, just shortly after we closed on our very first deal as leads.
So I want to say this, like all that sounds really amazing, and what you guys need to understand is that's like 10 years of that natural progression that Dave Fisher is talking about. So if you are a skeptic, if you're wondering if this thing is legit, I'm telling you now you're in the right place, that if you join, you get out what you put in, and hopefully we're a small example of what's possible. There are people who have done amazing, right? We've done really, really well too, and it's because of a lot of different people that have played a part in it. So that's 10 years of progression, like 45 deals and 7,500 units and all this stuff sounds absolutely insane. The other thing I would say too is that's rule 3. Rule 3, no joke. The hardest thing that I had to understand was this whole idea of you can't get rich slow. But when you start making these investments, like Adrian has been, and doing 7 deals in a year, and not that you have to be that crazy. I mean, that is amazing he did that, but we'll get into it. But even if you do 20, 25, 50, whatever, as soon as that domino effect hits.
It's not 20 or 25 deals. It's
no,
$25,000 investment, a little one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you start. As
Right.
soon as that domino effect hits, and that rule 3 kicks in of I can't get rich slow. I mean, this is really what happens. I mean, that's money that we have made, that we have reinvested over and over and over again. I mean, John knows this.
And I want to bring up a point, because this is very powerful for people that are in the corporate world. They're like, well, I see the house, you make like 20, 30 grand a year, but I make 6 figures. Can you really replace a 6-figure income? Yeah. I have a lot of people saying, yeah, because people I've done this with, that 2-3 years later or 5 years later, they replace a 6-figure income. So those corporate types in the room, this might be a career path you want to pursue, which is what they're called lead investors. But that is a full-time job. There's a full-time job. Now, their investors don't do anything. They put money in and get a check. Who likes the idea of not doing anything, getting a check? Okay, there's the lazy people. Who wants to put the deals together and make money? Those are hard workers. Either way, it works. I'm just saying there's 2 different paths you can go.
And we're an open book, so I'll share numbers with you. She didn't get laid off. I didn't get laid off, right? I was in high tech TI. She quit her job, retired from corporate America. When I left TI, I was making $250,000 a year, and I left. I quit. So they thought I was being headhunted. They make me sign a bunch of paperwork.
Kevin, thank you so much for sharing that, because so many people get up here and they're ambiguous because they like working in the oil industry. They make $500,000 a year, but they don't want to tell people that. and they're ambiguous. They're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm a doctor. Is it $100,000 a year? Is it $400,000 a year? So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. I really give him a hand for that, because
Yeah.
that's huge
So-
for the people that are thinking of doing a career here.
I remember in 2016, because I had joined in 2015. I remember in 2016 them coming on stage and him like, "Hey guys, I just want to let everybody know I quit TI," and he shared those numbers, and I'm like, "How is that?" I didn't say anything wrong. I said, "Yeah, wow." Unbelievable. But what was interesting was it wasn't unbelievable. It was just a constantly people would come on stage, because once you're a preferred member, you get to meet all the lead investors, and David will talk about all that. But it's a constant. I remember shortly, it was my first year. I remember this older guy. He came across the stage, and tears in his eyes, saying how he had retired. And he's like, "I told my wife I never thought it would happen. I didn't see a path forward." And then boom, a couple months later, another person comes by. "I retired. Doesn't matter what your background is.
So I'll tell you too, in doing that, we had some money in the bank. It wasn't like $1 million or anything crazy, right? It wasn't like what we're investing now or anything like that. So we had a couple hundred in the bank in order to make some smart investments. We did that jump, the big jump, of going from my W-2, the last one, into real estate. Making about $4,500 a month is where we were at, and that was 4 passive deals. That was our first lead deal, which was a small 16 units that we were maybe making $1,000 a month on. So the reason we're able to do that is one, because we had some savings, but more importantly, because we had a plan that we worked on with our mentors. Right, making that kind of jump is nerve-wracking as hell. I mean, you are. W-2 is not secured income, right? It's it could go at any time, lay off or whatever. But we had our 3 girls. They were 6, 6, and 3. They're now 14, 14, and 12. Our youngest is back there, and she's gigantic. She was like this when we joined, But it's because of our mentors helping us put that plan together that we were able to make that jump and really kind of supplement the path. I mean, going lead and making that jump to say, "Hey, I believe in the system. Let's go."
It was an all-in. It was an all-in, and we gave ourselves a year. We knew we could make it a year with what we had saved, and so we knew we had a plan, and we had to execute that.
One thing I love is when couples go and do this together and they support each other. It's very important to have that communication going where the husband and wife are both supporting each other doing this. That works the best way. So that's what I find. I don't know.
So I say this for that dude right there, aspiring lead. So we're waiting, man.
Go to the next slide.
Yep.
Okay, so why did we join Lifestyles Unlimited? We were looking for a solution to the how do you pay for your expenses after retirement problem. So I don't know that I was really worrying about that, because I was raising, we had little kids, and that's all I was thinking about. But he was like, "Okay, we make X now, or we spend X now. How are we going to save enough to spend X when we're no longer working? Like, where's that money going to come from?" And you start doing the math, and you can't save your way to that. You just can't, and it's not going to happen. I mean, we had saved for probably 10 years, remember? Yeah. And we put money aside in this mutual fund.
I was so proud of this mutual fund.
It was
$100,000,
and we were so proud of it. I
We
mean,
killed it.
we invested it in deals once we signed up.
We killed it on a mutual fund. We did all the research, right? We invested for 10 years, and we made a 26.9% return.
Over 10
Annualize it. 2.69%, and we were the proudest people in the world. Sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but your head, your paradigm, your mindset, everything starts to shift. The more you get educated, the more you start networking and talking to other people who have been in the same place that you guys are at now, you start to realize, man, okay, we need to do something different, and that's the other thing too. I think the plan that we had in place, even with our mentor, it was changing every 3 months, and it was going faster every 3 months, so a lot of it moves really, really fast as soon as you're ready.
So we knew we didn't want to work until we were 59 and a half. And so I can remember when our youngest was a baby, and you remember we also had twins that were toddlers, and he's like, I want to buy a rent house. Like, I want to buy a house and I want to rent it out. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, they're just going to destroy it, and I need you here fixing this house, not somewhere else, fixing some other house. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's crazy. And so I don't know. I held him back, honestly. And then it was this 5-minute hallway conversation that he had with a friend at TI who was already in lifestyles, and he said they were talking about college savings plans, and Kevin's like, "What are you doing to save for college?" Since he had 3 kids and we have 3 kids, and he was like, "Well, I have 3 rent houses, and each time somebody goes off to college, I'm going to sell one." And we're like, "Well, that's he was like, "That's genius," So
I'm looking for
how'd you
him.
know how to do this? And it was
So I'm
lifestyles.
gonna call him out. This is Carlos Betancourt, and he's a lead investor.
Yeah.
He's the guy responsible for all of this. Honestly, I give him all the credit in the world for introducing us to lifestyles. What literally was a 5-minute conversation, completely changed everything that we have now. So.
Yeah. All right. You can go to the next.
All right, so let's jump into Biltmore. This property is in Arlington. This is one of 2 properties that we bought at the same time. So this is part of a portfolio deal. So I had to split the numbers, appropriately between these 2 assets because we bought them with a single loan, which my team does not like, but it works really, really well. So 186 units and a lot of language and terminology and stuff, but I promise you in the 2-day with Dave, a lot of this is going to make sense to you, especially when he goes through the numbers. So apologies up front. But 186 units, this property was built in 1978. We purchased it a year. 5 days from now will be 1 year. So we've been working on turning it around since then. Lots of different things that we'll talk about maybe. We bought it for $22.1 million. That works out to about $119 a door. So as in 1978, a year ago, similar properties, in fact, another one that I was trying to buy when we were under contract on this one, properties in North Arlington were trading for $145, $150 a door, and we took this one down for $119 a door. So I didn't know it at the time. We were up against institutional buyers, guys coming out of New York to do this. And what helped us was the fact that we were willing to buy the entire portfolio. So this property and the other one, which is in South Arlington. So that helped us get the deal. It's cash out of pocket, equity raised from the investors, $7 million to do this deal. Initial financing, $17.6 million. The renovation budget was right at 1.3, maybe slightly higher than that. We have a total, I know it sounds crazy, 132 investors. The lowest one is at 20K. It's 132 because the total equity raise was 17 million, 16.6 million. So the other property was much bigger, but 132 investors in this deal, and our lowest is at 20,000. So the biggest is $500,000.
Okay, I want to break that down a little bit further. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Because we have people watching from all across America right now.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when they watch this, they think, okay, they're all people from here.
Great question.
Just Arlington, Dallas. Could you share just some of the states and kind of jobs people come from? Because people think, oh, it's all millionaires. Are there truckers? Are there just a couple like different career fields and places people investing from?
I mean, we've got nurses, we've got teachers, we've got IT. We of course have engineers, doctors. We have retirees. We have retired oil engineers. But people from all over the nation. I've lost track now in this deal and others. I would say we probably have at least 11 states represented in this one, from California, probably Hawaii, Colorado, Florida.
That's a 420 state.
What's that? Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of everybody I know who keeps investing with us. Where they live.
And that's why I'm explaining to people watching.
Yeah. It doesn't
and
matter
I'll
where
teach
you're
more about
at.
this weekend. It's live where you want to live.
Yeah.
Invest where it makes sense with who you want to. You can do it from anywhere. So I just want to make sure people know.
Yeah, I would say if you're not familiar with Lifestyles Unlimited or the tools that they've built in place that helps you as a passive investor make this even easier. I mean, you can literally do this from your couch and investing with multiple leads, going through your documentation, signing up, wiring your money over, and
So I want to take it one step further.
Yeah.
So you have 132 investors between these 2 deals,
Yeah.
right? How many of those investors physically came out and looked at the property at least one time?
only those that volunteered to help us out on the due diligence.
So probably 10 to 20, right?
Probably less than that.
If even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
If
maybe
even.
5
So,
or 6.
and I have to bring that up too. These people are not out there looking at these properties every day. They're like, I'm a teacher. I have no time for this. I put my 50 grand in. I want to double my money. Just send me my check. Who likes that idea? So you'll be investing in deals all across America. and you don't have to visit. You can if you want to, if they have an opportunity where you can do that. But I just want to make sure people know you don't have to be hands-on. You're not out there cleaning toilets like people think.
And it's all voluntary. I will tell you the benefit of having such amazing passive investors that want to help out and volunteer. I mean, we're going to buy you lunch, but having your kind of help walking 186 units, I mean, that's
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
now think about it. What if there was the opportunity to go, if Kevin was buying a deal and you want to invest in a deal, to go walk it yourself? Who'd like that idea? Yeah. So there is opportunities to do that. I'll talk more about that in the summer.
And there's a lot of sharing that we do too, kind of painting the vision of what we have in mind for the property. So I think there's a huge benefit to doing it, but you are kind of sacrificing a day or two, and spending it with us. So,
For Chick-fil-A.
Well, unless it's Sunday, but.
But I will add to that. Being able to walk these properties and see and understand mindset, methodology, and motivation, you feel even better about investing in it. In addition to that, say you're out of state, out of town, whatever the case may be, you get better at reviewing the deals that you have access to. So we use a program called Podium, and you see all these different deals on there. Imagine going to a property like this, walking the units, touching it, feeling it, smelling the value add components of it, right? Some of you know what I'm talking about there, okay? Imagine how better of an investor you are when you make these decisions, whether to put your money. And the more you do this, the better you get. The better you get, the more money you make. It's a snowball effect, guys. And the education's priceless.
All right, so talking about numbers, income, we're at $2.3 million, expenses 1.2, monthly cash flow about $39,000, NOI is 1.1, cash on cash return 5.4, and a $25 million valuation on a 4.5 cap. And again, all this will make more sense in the 2
Yeah, right now if you're new, it's Greek. The only number that should matter to you if you're new is like, hey, they're just buying out, things are moving around, they're trying to raise rents, but they got to fix up units, so you're making 5% a year. You understand that while they're doing that process.
All right, so this is the before on the left. This is one of the drone pictures that we took. Really good bones. 1978, North Arlington. Previous owners, more so than the previous deals we bought from them, took better care of this one. And the newness of it has helped too. So on the exterior, there wasn't a lot we had to do. There wasn't a lot of great curb appeal that this property had. It is a little bit off the beaten path, not quite, but it's not the first one on the corner. It's the second one on the corner. So we did a full exterior paint. We're kind of known for the cedar on the rails and whatnot. So there's a big pop that provides too. Talking about curb appeal and that first impression that you have to create. So the pictures on the right are kind of what we've done. We've done some other things with the pools and the clubhouse. That's another big thing that we're on is the clubhouses. That's massive first impression. You walk in, you blow them away with the clubhouse, the landscaping, you have your property tour to the model home, and you have a model home, and you blow them away with that, and they're like, holy crap, I want to live here. And you're kind of done, So the property really kind of sells itself. It leases up itself, and we've used this kind of model over and over and over again. And, one time we got rid of the model and occupancy tanked, and we brought the model back on, and it went back up. And so people want to see where they live. And so we buy the furniture, you'll see it. But yeah.
And just so you understand, if you're new, Dell came up with a model 30 years ago. Best product, best price, serviced by the best people. So we're not slumlords. We fix up everything, clean, functional, and he does that little ads, little extras to make people want to come there. You understand that? So that's why we're so successful in what we do.
Sorry. Okay. All right. So that's the probably the best looking kitchen we have on the left. That is their upgrade unit, which is good. I mean, we would have done that probably 5-7 years ago. We don't do the dark. We don't do the upper cabinets. We like this real big open concept. And we do some other small touches. We already had black appliances on a lot of these units. But the picture on the right is our premium upgrade. And the way we've always operated with premium upgrade is we push all of our rents across the board to the top of the market. And it doesn't matter what it is. For all of our units, we push them to the top of the market. This is a premium unit, so we are always driving the rents. We're driving the market, and we add at least $100 on top of the premium unit. So we are always in a position where we're going to drive the market, trying to justify the extra $100 with that kind of home. And it works, right? It is a little bit expensive, especially now, to do the vinyl plank, right? But we had the benefit of saving some money on the appliances. They were already black. That works with our model. We dropped in the granite. That's definitely a premium. But when you can do that and continue to drive, a $100 premium above the highest market rents, that works really, really well because market rent continues to increase, but our $100 premium stays right on top of it. So that is something we really like doing. It works really, really well. All we have to do is change our base rent, and everything moves up. So. Bathroom shot, same bathroom. Again, ripped off the countertop. Kept the lights, kept the mirror, kind of dressed it up, changed the floor, added furniture. We own the furniture. We do that on purpose. So little things, small touches. Kind of in and out. 5 days. Rent goes from $800 to $1,500. Whatever, $1,400. So. Yeah. I will say this, it's a challenge sometimes to justify the rents. If you're going to justify that kind of rent increase, whether it's 400, 500, whatever it is, you really need to do something special because your resident base is going to turn over big time. Turnover is going to hit you hard. Delinquency is going to hit you hard. This is a value play. Primarily from an operations perspective, it's a value play. The bones were really, really good. Small things, curb appeal like we talked about, but the resident base, no bueno, no good.
Well, the other thing too is I think we were coming off of kind of like the pandemic kind of ended. Yeah. All this rent relief has been handed out, but that's running out. Now what?
Now you got to change the whole resident base is more entitled type people.
They had a lot of people at this property receiving some form of rent relief, and like a second wave came through, and the Arlington Housing was trying to help as many people as they could and prevent as many evictions as they could, but like the money eventually was running out, and so there's been a lot of turnover at this property, but it's for the best.
So we bought it at 98%. Just real quick numbers: 98% occupied, which scares the hell out of me because we know there's stuff in the place. Because the rents are so low. Of course they're 100%, 98%. You're the lowest rent in the market. We dropped lowest probably 78, 79, and now we're at 92. So again, that whole 1 year cycle, we're back where we need to be. So. But a lot of it has to do with creating value. You create value, you justify the rents. A lot of this becomes much, much easier.
And this is exactly what you guys have done on previous programs.
Yeah.
And so one thing you're hearing words like value play, and we use another term here at Lifestyle, it's called yield play. A yield play is a property in perfect shape. You make money from day one. You don't have to do anything. Because they're transitioning this property, because they're raising the rent so much, they have to wait till people move out to be able to raise the rent. So it takes a little bit longer, maybe 2-3 years to get that full cycle. Everybody understand that? So, and I'll explain that this weekend.
Yep. So more numbers. I know this is an eye chart. We can look at the income, operating expenses. It's important to see that the operating expenses continues to increase. You don't ever really want to see that tank because it doesn't really make sense. We know property tax is going to go up. Yep. We know insurance is going to go up. We know now that labor and material costs is going to go up. So that plays a huge factor. NOI, though, as a result of the rent growth and everything else that we're doing, increases as well. Net cash flow, you can see it there. Cash on cash, 5.4, 6.7, and 7.3. So.
But here's the kicker right here.
Here's the kicker. Here's where it pays off. So I want you to remember the 119 a door, and then what I said about other properties at the same time last year selling for that 145, 150. So somebody do the math on 28.7 in year 3 divided by 186 units. Right, it's pretty darn close to what they were, selling deals for a year ago. So, is there a little bit of sandbag, a little bit of conservative, here? Probably so. It's on a 4.5 cap. It was probably a 4 cap when we bought it. The market North Arlington is ridiculous. You go down the main drag and you see Dallas Cowboy Stadium. It's where everybody wants to live. It's entertainment capital of DFW. So,
who likes these being conservative with his numbers? That's what we teach.
So 22.1 million. By year 3, it's 28.7. Again, we have $7 million in the deal. We have the original loan amount that was 17.6. So we count the cash on cash distributions over those 3 years, and you can see a 7.2 million total equity capture, which is about 103% return on the original investment after 3 years. So
you're supposed to clap. I know, that was my Nancy Pelosi moment. Now, let me explain what this means if you're new and don't understand. If you took $100,000 of your money, that would be like Kevin and his wife giving you back your $100,000 and then an extra 103 on top of that. Do you understand that? Who'd be okay with that? Give him a hand, it's huge.
cover this? Yeah. So how do we increase the NOI? There's not a, there's these 28 things that we do to increase NOI and income and all this other stuff. I wanted to get to some maybe more of the nuts and bolts of what we do. The big one was we had to remove all the bad, non-paying, delinquent residents. That's huge. You can't keep them there. They're not going to help you. They're not paying rent.
Yeah, we can't call them deadbeats. We call them financially disenfranchised Bernie Sanders supporters.
I will tell you now, it's a real challenge. Like the eviction moratoriums and the abatements of the evictions and stuff like that, it can be a real challenge. So there's a lot of work that goes into that right now. Created value through the renovations that justified the rental increase. We talked about that, whether it's curb appeal, whether it's the model, the clubhouse, it's first impression, and man, you get one shot at that versus the competition right next door, because you're not the only stop they're making on that Saturday morning. So you get one shot. Push rents to the top of the market, as I talked about. We charge $100 over that, as our premium. We leverage, this is big. We probably don't talk about this enough. This goes really to the economies of scale that you always hear about, leveraging existing service providers and relationships. So we have a big portfolio we sold some properties in Irving. This is our first 2 deals in Arlington. So we moved all of our contractors, all of our service providers, and say, hey, we're setting up shop. We need your help. And when you do that, they're very willing to help, and you get some price breaks and stuff like that. So they like knowing who they're working with and the scale themselves. So we're big on marketing. We're big on reputation management. We're big on customer service. It's a lot like you guys. You're probably shopping on Amazon. You filter by 4 stars. So a lot of that plays in. Even when people are looking for an apartment, they want to know that where they're living is a good place to live. So we're big on those things too. So. How has life changed, since joining Lifestyles? I could spend the rest of the night talking about this alone. We live a life now that I would have never dreamed was possible. I mean, no, even my wildest imagination would I think that we are where we're at now. And this is why I share with you how much I was making, because we're not making $250 a year now. Just leave it at that.
One more thing I think is important for the new people to understand is the difference between Lifestyles and the abundance mentality versus scarcity mentality. Could you share how like Alex, if he owned an apartment across the street from you,
all day,
you would be willing to share it, or maybe
day.
Alex explain what the mentoring group is and the mastermind, because I think it's important for new people to understand that.
So yeah, every month before case study, we have 2 masterminds. We have what's called an aspiring lead mastermind. So it's all of our future leads. So those who want to do what they're doing, right? So Adrian, when he's ready to go into the multifamily, before he buys a property, he comes to our aspiring lead mastermind, where we talk about everything and anything. We also invite our leads to come in and do Q&A. So you'll have the 3 mentors, 2 or 3 mentors will be in this meeting, and we just talk through everything and anything to do with multifamily. Then once they buy a property, they graduate to where they really, really want to be, which is the lead mastermind. And then we get into the nitty-gritty, and we talk about everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the challenges, the pain, the suffering, the successes, all these great things on how to make an extra $100 on a unit upgrade, a premium unit upgrade. What goes into it? Where do you get your things? Where do you get your insurance from? How do you do your taxes? So imagine you want to invest with somebody, and you know that they're going to these masterminds month after month after month. They're coming to these case studies. They're networking with other operators and owners. And then they go for only the preferred members. They come to the road trips where they will present their property next Friday. And then we actually get to go on the property and walk in the property, right? Imagine you want to invest with somebody. You know they're going to these masterminds. They're doing all these things. How much more comfortable do you feel partnering with them in a deal and putting your money to work in that deal? Immensely more comfortable, right? And that's a huge part of the value that this group brings, because when Kevin and Laurie are there, they're talking about everything. They're sharing it all. You see how transparent he is, right? It gets deeper, way deeper. We go deep down the rabbit hole in these masterminds for an hour and a half plus for each one.
And in the outside world, let's look at this. This guy owns an Exxon. This guy owns a Sunoco. Do they go across to each other and say, hey, what are you paying your employees? Where are you ordering your, that sounds silly, we're laughing, right? That one, but him will share, I pay my guy this much per hour, I pay this much, here, hey, this guy, why don't you use him instead? Yeah, that's the power of our group, and we really do share that with each other.
Last part of that, the best part, I think, of what we do now, you always hear it's not about the money, it's the lifestyle. We're there. The best part of what we do now is really helping other people, whether it's helping our passive investors with doing new, better deals, whether it's helping other aspiring leads or helping other leads. We get a lot of personal enjoyment from that. Because there's a lot of people that over the last 9 years have helped us out, and some of them are gone, a lot of them are gone, graduated out or bigger and better, what have you. But it's our way of just helping out, giving back, to those that helped us get to where we're at now. So,
tell me, is it not cool that they come up here and share and help out the new people? Give them a hand for doing that. It's awesome.
All right. So short-term goals.
You have to explain the picture.
What? Explain the picture.
He's in the back seat.
He's in the back seat. We were picking up that car. That was a new car, and I was just sitting in the front playing with everything, and he sat down in the back, and I was like, well, this is funny. It was a fun day. But short-term goals, finish stabilizing our current deals. We've got our hands full right now, so we're staying busy with that. Refinance 2 assets in Irving if this market ever settles down. Continue helping our friends and family succeed in real estate. Y'all, that's like the biggest thing. My entire family are members of Lifestyles. The joy I get when I send my mom a check is cool. Unexplainable.
Big checks to mom. Yeah,
yes. My sister and my brother-in-law are leads down in Central Texas. My brother and my other sister, like my brother and his wife, like she wants to be a lead. So we love that. And legacy, what's the point too of achieving everything and then not having anybody to go on vacation with because they're all working? So you want everybody to do this and to retire. Because we want to go do things and we want y'all to come with us. So
I can't have to work. I have a W-2. I don't have any more pay time off. It's like,
right.
Come on.
So that's that gives us a lot of joy. We love helping our friends and family and all the people we've met here. Long-term goals. What's got there? I almost need my reading glasses. Sell, refinance the Arlington and Denton portfolios a couple years down the road, and acquire more newer, larger assets. These projects that require a lot of renovation are exhausting. So I think that in our long-term strategy is to get into some newer stuff. It's less renovation.
Okay.
And then continue to create incredible investment opportunities for our passives.
So really quick, I want you to explain the difference between, because you guys are there on site, running things, multiple properties, doing a lot of work. And I know you probably have some passives in the room. Who's a passive in any of their deals? So you see all these folks raising their hands. One thing that's cool is they retired themselves, but it's now neat to see them retiring these other folks just by putting their money. That is the coolest thing as a lead, is it not?
Yes. Absolutely.
Could you explain how much work these passives do on these properties? Because maybe the people watching don't understand. They understand it's a full-time job for you. How much work do they do?
Nothing. They
do
nothing.
They do something. What do they do? Once a month, they got to read
Once a month, they read their financials.
Yeah, get a little newsletter, right? And then.
Well, they don't even have to take checks to the bank anymore because there's everybody has ACH.
Who likes the idea of just getting it sent right to your bank account? They're all lazy.
Yeah. I will say there is one thing I really enjoy from passive investors, and I'm not asking anybody to do this, but there's a lot of work that goes into doing this, right? And we do expect the passives to be passive, no issue whatsoever.
Right.
But when you get that email and it's like a small like kudos, good job, like they're reading, the the financials, or they're aware of what's, it's just that's pretty cool. It's like knowing that they're still alive, and
just sit back. Thanks. You don't even send thanks, or it's like, where's my check?
So that kind of touch is pretty cool, knowing. So otherwise it could be really quiet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. Cool. All right.
All right, so who's on our team? I only had one slide. I needed like 10. Don Rao, I saw him. Is Don here? Don, he was the first lead investor. When we joined in 2013, there was maybe 5-7 lead investors, and he was one of 2 that we were recommended to talk to. And this was before he was a mentor. And this guy's been a close friend and mentor of ours for a long, long time. Our first deal was bought across the street from the deal from the first passive investment that we got into ever, and it was with Don. And so he's a big part of our team.
And you ended up buying some of his portfolio, did you not, at one point?
Recently, yeah.
So it's kind of neat to see it. And this is another thing that people don't understand at Lifestyles. We will have deals go from one member to another, and there's still meat on the bone for them. Is that kind of not cool? So if, let's say you're newer, an experienced guy, he's selling a small asset because he's buying a bigger one. The new guy gets to buy a little one so he can learn from that. Isn't that cool? So we see a lot of that.
Yeah, our very first deal was 16 units, and Chuck
Chuck
yeah.
bought that one.
bought
Yeah.
that one.
See, and that's what I love is the stories of the members going, this went from him to him to him. Now it's on the third person. He made 100%. He made 100%. He made 100%. There's still meat on the bone.
So Chuck and I were catching up before this. So our highest rents was $765 for those one bedrooms, and they're what now? They're $995.
Wow, good job, Chuck.
So
yeah, there you go. And 100% lease. There you go. That means you got to push your rents more. So, I mean, I'm still going to be me.
Mike Spots, he's another one of those mentors that we lean on hard. There's I feel like we know how to underwrite now. You know what I mean? But having that person that's going to call BS if you're like smoking crack and like doing something stupid. Mike Spots is that kind of person. He's going to call me out. There's some other people too. I mean, Corey would call me out, Jeff would, Sean, Brian. There's some other leads here that I would throw stuff against, and they're going to call me out if we're like not looking at things correctly. And that's to your point of being able to share stuff. It's not just the financials and everything. It's even the underwriting, especially now, which is really, really important. It's like punch holes, man. Throw darts. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Yep.
Because I need another pair of eyes on this thing because I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about all our mentors and our members. We're tough love people. We're gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want. Sometimes we have rose-colored glass because we're emotionally attached. We want this deal. We've been working on it 6 months. Sorry, it's bad, and here's why.
Yeah.
And you need that.
And I would say, it's especially true on the passive side too. So you're not going to hear what you want to hear. You're not going to hear that your plan that you have in your head is the best plan. They're probably going to give you something else, and it's probably what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So, but it works. The plan works. The roadmap works. It's been here for 30 years. And there's a lot of people in here who have made a lot of money. So again, if you're skeptical, it works. I have to give huge credit to Carolyn. She brought us our first deal, and she also brought us this deal too, this portfolio. So we worked with her and CBRE to get this deal done against some major competition, at the time. So huge thanks to her. Vendors, we have. I was going to say like. One of the benefits of like being in real estate that we probably don't talk a lot is the tax advantage. Do we talk about that? Do we?
I definitely do that on a seminar, but not tonight. Not really. I
Okay,
say
cool.
I allude to it, but I don't say how.
We don't pay taxes. Like we haven't paid taxes in 5 years. Like in fact, we're getting stimulus checks. Like I don't understand.
It feels so wrong.
Like it's her fault back there. My little one, she needs a stimulus check. Actually, she thought the money was hers. She's like. So, the system's messed up, but I will tell you there's huge advantages in being in real estate, especially from a depreciation, which you're going to cover in the 2 days. So he'll talk about depreciation and a lot of these things that you can take advantage of. And so if you have a high AGI, you need this, big time.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things in my seminar. The 1%ers in the room. Could you imagine not paying taxes next year after doing this stuff? That'd be life-changing for you.
Yeah. So.
Or getting a refund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you think you owe money, you get back 28 grand.
Right.
It happened to me the other year. Yeah.
Right. So engineer tax services are the guys we use to do that. So they're our cost seg guys, which Dave will hopefully talk about depreciation. Rent recovery solution, we use them for all the collections that we go through, and we get about 30% from these guys.
That's
They're
pretty good.
freaking outstanding.
That's
Yeah,
actually really
good.
yeah.
Swifty, where's John?
He's back there with the hat on.
Love this guy. He does all of our websites. He's also a preferred investor group member and a passive, so he does all of our website development. We got hooked up with each other on a random kind of me stalking my competitors to figure out who they're using for their websites. It's like, holy shit.
That's a technical term we can't say.
Which one? That one?
The holy.
Oh, we can't say that. Sorry.
Try not. But I thought his name was Swirly, not Swifty, and that was a different meeting in high school.
Anyways, this guy takes care of us. He does our corporate side, all of our community sides, so he's got an amazing product. Pioneer Exteriors, I didn't see Steven Summers here. I don't see him. This guy has helped us out from our personal resident to the single families that we bought, and even our 248 unit multifamily. So the guy he's been around a long time and does some incredible work. Okay. Probably got the biggest heart of anybody I know. Straight line foundation, they do all of our foundation work. Yep, there's a lot of stuff to fix, especially when it's 50 years old. These guys do really good work. So
Cool.
all right, that's it.
Well, we got to get questions.
Questions. We're an open
Yes,
book,
question.
so ask.
So there's a question. Where are my microphone runners? Chris, you got one? And her husband. Oh my gosh.
So there
Cool,
was
Blake.
an online question about what class of a property is this?
1978, it's a Class B. I would call it a Class B minus. Some of the deferred maintenance and the operation side of it, probably a Class B minus.
And there's people watching it with like 6-year deals. Like
Yeah,
Myra.
I saw that.
What's that?
Myrna.
The
Oh,
Solis's.
love those guys. Yeah, they've been with us for a long time.
Kind of cool to see people
Yeah.
from all over. Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Blake, you got one over there?
Hey, so I heard you talk about having to justify the raise in rents and
Yep.
it's by, making your property a premium. My question is about design. So do you guys just have a knack, for design, or do you have a designer that does that? How do you know what to do to make it?
We contract it out. We contract out as much as we possibly can. I'm not even going to pretend that. I've hired exterior designers. I've hired interior designers.
Okay,
so.
interior design.
But
none
I
of it-
will say, when it comes to the interiors, once we found like a palette that works,
Keep
or
it.
that
Just
it's the
across
same,
the
like
board,
every
yeah.
single unit we've ever renovated has like the same paint color in it.
Yeah.
So I have
was
my
it-
I have my one contractor. I have my one sales rep. Hey, Austin, we have another one. I need you next week. And it's Austin comes
so is
out.
it
and
like
does,
a design company, or did you guys have like a, you see on TV?
It depends on the
we
property.
don't do the TV crap.
It at this
Block
par-
your child blocks on those. You can't watch them anymore.
at this particular property, did we hire a designer for this one?
No, we didn't.
No.
We didn't hire designers. So
We
this
didn't
is
need a
this
designer
is
for
me
this
paying
one.
a lot of money to other designers, stealing all their ideas, and just saying this is what they would do, and just picking colors. But the interiors though, that's a design company. So we buy the furniture. They do all the work.
But it's basically like, these are the styles that you can pick from. This is a model unit furniture or office furniture, and these are your choices. And you're like, I like that one. And they just bring it all in. Everything from the rugs to the curtains to the decorations.
That's where we're at today. When we were starting out, deal 1, 2, 3, I was driving comps. I was driving, people that were an inspiration to us, even outside of LU, like some big guys checking out their properties, trespassing. We'd go down to Houston to other road trips because I wanted to see what other leads were doing down there. So we stole a bunch of ideas, borrowed a bunch of ideas from other people, and so we incorporated a lot of that, or work with the designers to say, hey, we like this, let's do that. And so it's kind of a mix right now.
And how many different assets are you running right now? 6, is it?
We have
so
6.
So they have 6 different apartment communities, so they're getting a little bit larger now. So
Next question.
where are we at? Oh, Chris? It doesn't like it? Okay, let's get another. Oh,
I
look,
got it.
Alex getting exercise. We'll get you another microphone. Hold on. Look at Blake run. Wow, you're going to lose 4 pounds, Blake.
So my question is, how many passive deals were you in before you got in your first lead?
Great question.
And did you use like funds from a cash out refi as seed money for the multifamily?
So let me think for a second. We had our mutual fund that we had saved up that I mentioned. We also refinanced our personal residence to pull out money. So, and that was like the hardest thing I did.
Yeah, that was hard for me
late
too.
in the game too. That was the last thing we did.
Yeah.
Like that's when all the Kool-Aid was drank.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But we started out, when we came to the 2-day, we thought we were going to do houses. That's what we came for. We left going, wow, we can do apartments, like what? And so then we decided to just jump straight into the preferred membership, and we were just going to do passive. So we got into 2 passive deals first, before we did
Four of
a
them.
couple of single families. And then we were, got it. So I think we were in 4 passive deals and 2 single families before we went lead.
And this is Sifford's fault. The reason why we finally, you guys.
Sifford
were up
here?
once-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
he is
right
there.
here.
Hey.
So
Are you
quick
teaching
story.
Salt Lake this weekend, just so I know? So, guys, really quick for people online, I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Brian. He's talking about Brian, who, Brian is one of our presenters like I am this weekend. He's a follically challenged individual right there. He's going to be teaching out Salt Lake City, Utah this weekend. So, anybody Salt Lake, if you don't know about the seminar, you can come to me if you're local or whatever, or online. But if you're in Salt Lake, go see Brian out there, okay? He'll teach you out there live.
So 2015, these guys were on stage, Meredith and Brian, they were on stage. They joined at the same time, August 2013,
We were at the same
right?
2 day.
Yeah, same.
Oh, you were in the same seminar.
And so this guy gets up on stage doing a case study, and we talk about the plan, right? The plan changes every 3 months. 3 months wasn't fast enough because these dudes were up on stage. I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, we need to be moving faster. So we started talking.
That's because he went to AT&T.
Yeah.
That was one of your competitors.
But it was a great motivation for us, seeing what other people were doing and getting even more inspired and saying, man, okay, we can do this too, And so, yeah, they're the ones that kind of like kicked us in the pants a little bit. They didn't even know it right at the time, yeah. So, yeah, so.
And here's the truth. There might be 200 people in the room today. People always go, well, how many people do it? How many people don't do it? Here's the numbers. 80-20 rule in life. Who heard of that before? That means 20% of you are going to step up, change your lives, retire in 5 years or less, like folks like this. What's the other 80% going to do? Go back to your job, your 401k, your IRA, your TSP. It all starts by doing what? Stepping up, taking action. Just do something. I don't care if you buy a house. I don't care if you invest in one apartment deal. Once you do one, you get over it, you double your money, you'll be hooked. You'll be crack addicts like these two. Okay?
Yeah, I will tell you, if you guys don't sign up, I've got lots of questions on why. I mean, you can turn to the person next to you. I bet you they remember. I bet you they made a small killing, maybe a big killing. But ask questions. That's what I would.
Can I take a quick poll?
Yeah.
How many folks are in this room because they didn't hear it on the radio, but a friend made money doing real estate at Lifestyles? Who's here because of a referral? So you see, most people think that most of the people come here is off the radio show. It's not. 60% of our membership is from referrals. We have a very strong referral because why? We make money. That you don't tell anybody about Lifestyles at first. It sounds like a nudist colony. But once you double your money, you're not afraid to tell other people.
All right, we got a question here.
Okay.
All right. So how did your actual numbers compare to your pro forma numbers?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. So on this one, because it's a value play, we're not there yet, right? So the bad debt, the abatements, the evictions, all that stuff is really kind of hit us harder than we anticipated. I would say that that it's been a small challenge, but like I say, we've gone from 98 to 78, 79 up to 92. So we've been here before, but in short, this one is not quite there yet after a year. I've got 5 days, but it's still not gonna. So. But when you're turning a value play, you could put the best plan in place and hope that that's going to be reality. And sometimes it is. Sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. I would say, and other times it requires a lot more work, right? And so this one required a lot more work. So.
Okay, cool. And there's other deals where you promise your people like a 50% return, they end up making like a 250% return. So
yeah, and I would say
can
too.
you example that so people understand? We like to be conservative with numbers. We're not going to overpromise on purpose.
So. Okay.
I don't know how you want to share that or not. It's up to you.
I'm trying to think of the best deal. Landon or, yeah. So
your members out there are saying Blandon.
Yeah. So Landon, we bought this deal. This was our second deal. We bought it in 2017, March of 2017. 134 units. We made the jump from 16 to 134 units. It had $3 million in it. We had 38 investors, $3 million in equity. A year after we bought it, we refinanced it for 100%, so we gave everybody their money back. We kept it for another 4 years. We sold it recently, and did we do another 100%? Well, we did over 100%. I think we did like another 120, 140%. So
222%,
something like that. Yeah. So
we'd be okay with 220% return.
And then they got their original money back. Yeah. So. Huh? What? It was over 50% annualized.
So 50% a year.
Yeah.
How many people's 401k are doing 50% a year? Would that not be life-changing, right?
Another question?
Yeah. Hold on, we have people online.
Because remember, the people from Hawaii can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Yeah, they're
Hawaii.
local moco. I always say it backwards when I'm out there.
You mentioned a little briefly that you own all the furniture.
Yes, we own all the furniture.
Does that mean you
The partnership. So the asset, the property itself, we bought, all of the furniture that's in that model. We don't rent it.
So it's for the model, and then they pull it out to put with the people.
And
live
I
in.
think I saw that question up
Yeah, we don't
there.
rent
Somebody
it.
was asking about the furniture. We're just talking about furniture for the model units.
I hate adding to operating expenses if I can avoid it. So if I can capitalize something like furniture up front, I'll capitalize it up front to save the operating expense, the recurring operating expense to the NOI. I don't want to do that. So, like, some people are still renting copy machines, copiers. I'm like, that is a dumb. It costs like $100. Go
Yeah, buy one. Yeah.
You're spending $100 renting the thing. Go buy one. Yeah. Anyways.
Take one more. There we go.
Just
look at that.
out of curiosity, who does your interiors? Who's your GC that does your interiors? Just out of curiosity.
We have 5 different
Yeah.
companies that we use right now for our interiors. So, yes.
Okay.
Great question, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right, we're good. Okay. Let's give everybody a hand for coming up here and sharing.
Thank you, Kevin and Laurie.
Thank you so much, brother.